ahead and comment below, because each week we're going to be answering some of those questions here within this section.
Yeah. So the first question we have from Anthony is, how much time do you have to do your due diligence on a deal? Is it days, weeks, or months? That's actually a great question. In terms of how much time do you generally try to give yourself to do due diligence on a deal? How much time do you need is also a good question. Something that's also interesting about this is that the answer might vary a little bit depending on how much we're spending.
Yeah, well, and depending on the type of auction, depending on the type of property, it's really not a question you can answer just straight individually with one answer. Because with a tax lien certificate property, we could research it, an hour before the auction, and if we make all of the determinations on the value, what it is, what the interest rate is, within a matter of a couple of minutes, we can make a determination on a tax lien certificate if it's a tax lien that we're going to purchase.
Well, literally, we have we bought tax liens before, just on basically from random selection or from rotational bidding, just when when your name comes up, because that most all the liens are great liens, and so those don't really require a lot of research, because we know that nearly all of them are going to redeem. They're highly secure investments. But if it's something different from that, something like if we're buying a piece of property, then we definitely have a series of steps that we've got to get through in order to minimize our risks.
Yeah. Also, another part of the question is how long should I start researching before the auction? Well, we're usually going to wait as close to the auction date as possible, because regardless if it's a tax lien certificate or especially with tax deeds, those properties are going to get redeemed up until the auction date. So we don't want to spend a lot of time researching property that we can't potentially buy. So we'll try to limit that within a week if we can, even shorter if we have the ability. And it's really going to depend on the individual property. The more money we're spending, the more research, due diligence we're going to have to put into it. So that the answer could be, very little. A matter of 5 minutes we can do that research, or it could be a couple of hours, or even more depending on the individual property.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon for us to not really dig into a list until it's a few days before the auction. Actually, now that also, of course, you got to give yourself time to get registered for it. So, if we're serious about a sale, then we'll get registered for the auction, but we may not dig into the research seriously until that last week.
Well, and that's where it can be so relative. That's how we can't completely answer your question, because if it's a large list, if there's 50 properties on the list, then we're going to wait until the last few days, because there's only so many properties. There's 50 properties we need to research. But if we're trying to research a list like the Los Angeles sale, where they had 1,200 properties available, we may need a couple of weeks to try to whittle that down, but we're still going to try to wait to do it as close to the auction day as possible.